These are the guys that you don't see on WSFA 12 News, but might be the most important members of the team because they're holding the camera. We can't tell your stories without our photographers. Well, Jeff Harrison and Andre Morgan have spent decades perfecting their craft and shaping this station's image. This was such a fun chat about the job, the things they've seen and done, the changes over time, and how their work upholds the history of this station. I'm Bethany Davis. This is Being Real.
Sponsored by Bryan Jewelry.
When you call me, I'll answer. And if you need someone to hold your hand, when you're lonely, I'll be there. I will give you everything I have.
Promise your everything with a diamond from Bryan Jewelry.
25 years is how long I've worked here. You guys were both here before I was. So there's a good amount of, well, there's a good amount of dirt I think we all have on each other.
Dirt?
Dirt's a good word, right? We'll
Yeah.
stick with dirt.
Yeah, okay, we'll stick with
dirt. But truly, I'm really excited to have the two of you together because it's been really cool over the last 25 years to watch the two of you work together. You guys, we say this a lot around here, that we're a lot more than coworkers. And you guys know I think the world of you both, but it's really cool to see the two of you work together and how your relationship has, we could say, ebbed and flowed over the years. Yeah. But when you guys think about each other, what do you think?
I'll let the senior statesman go first.
Senior? Just because I don't have any hair, I'm the senior. My relationship with this guy is special. He's a man who I have deeply respected and admired as long as we've worked together. He's been my rock. He's been the guy that I've always gone to, and we've had conversations in a satellite truck, in an office, everywhere about anything in our lives that's going on. He's my brother at work and my brother in Christ. He is a man who has just always been there for me. And we might have had a few cross words, probably not many at all. We've had a great working relationship, but I'll be honest with you, I can't get my job done here without him with me. And that's, I'll stop at that. It's your turn.
No, I mean, the way I explain Jeff to most people is he's the standard. At the end of the day, he's the standard, and he sets the table from a technical standpoint, because what happens is a lot of times WSFA is the standard. So not only will we own a press conference, we own the technology aspect of it, and that's due in large part to him. But not only is he good at what he does, he's also a great person. And what happens is, as we have grown our friendship, not only do we win together, but we take pride in planning to win together. And we've worked together so long now that we kind of yin and yang together. It's kind of like dancing in the dark. What he doesn't have, I have. What I don't have, he has. And when you put those two together, it's a very powerful force that we have. And the thing about it is, it's real easy to take that for granted. And what I thank God for is that we never took that for granted. There's a connection that we have because it's almost like we're brothers from another mother. But really and truly, the thread that binds us, and I know we would be remiss because we can't do this podcast or anything else without mentioning Vic Irving. Vic set the template for how we go about doing things. The way we plan, the way we strategize, the way we go into situations, and we're not shocked by anything because of the simple fact that you go through all the tabletop exercises to make sure everything is done. I know the level of respect that Jeff had for Vic. I know the level of respect I had with Vic. I didn't work at 12 with Vic. I was at public television. But Vic really and truly gave us the template of how to go about, especially from a photojournalism standpoint.
Yeah. He mentions Vic. For folks that don't know, Vic was our chief photographer for many, many years at WSFA. When I was hired in 1986, one of the first faces I saw in my face was Vic Irving, giving me instruction and direction on how I should be a photographer for WSFA. And he was my mentor, and he showed me the ropes. He gave me, WSFA gave me the tools. He gave me the instruction on how to use the tools properly. And we lost Vic, and in 1996, I was covering the Summer Olympic Games in Atlanta. Vic had been sick, had been in the hospital a couple of times, and I got a call on the way back from Atlanta, and they told me that Vic had passed away, and I had to pull over. I couldn't drive anymore, and it truly tore my heart out when I lost that man. And in pops this guy. Okay, he comes into my life, and I lose Vic, and I gain Andre, and it's just like it's seamless. You know, I have another man of character and with a passion for his work, you know, his family and his work and everything, just as Vic had, and I picked back up, and I'm rolling along. Then I got him. So
I think I say this all the time about working here. I think we are so fortunate to work in a place where the previous generation put us in a position, not just in a leadership position, but really put us in a successful position. And really, it's just our job, right, to not screw it up.
Yeah, don't mess it up.
Like in a relay race, you know, they pass the torch to us with a huge lead. We just got to hang on to the lead.
Yeah.
But we've had so many. I think Vic is an excellent example. We've had so many of those torch bearers who set such a standard, who raised the bar so high that it's really just our job to keep up.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about these cameras right here. Did you probably worked with both of these?
Yeah.
Our cameras, by the way, now don't look anything like this. They have gotten smaller and lighter.
Yeah, a little smaller. It's good on the back, though. Think about
Our backs don't look the same.
our backs don't feel the
That might
same or
be
look the same. We walk around like this for some reason, you know, kind of crooked. This one over here is a Sony BVP 3A. If anybody at home really cares, but that's a late '80s model camera, and that camera actually is one part of the entire set of gear there, because you had that camera hooked with a cable to a 3/4 inch videotape recorder that was on your shoulder. So you carried that on the right shoulder, the recorder on the left shoulder, and then you went to the chiropractor at the end of the week to get straightened back out. But that camera is a classic camera, one of the best ones ever built by Sony. This one is a Ikegami HL43. This has the recorder on the back, so I think this is DVC Pro.
Yeah.
This camera actually had 2 different recorders on it. We repurposed it and put 2 different recorders on it over the years. But anyway, this one was my personal camera, and I still have it, and it was probably my favorite I ever worked with. But you know, like me, it's gotten old and dusty, so it had to eventually retire. So,
About how much do you think these cameras weigh? How heavy?
I don't want to pick it up anymore.
Yeah. Easily
20 pounds.
Yeah, 25.
Yeah,
20,
and then you
25
add a
pounds.
recorder on your shoulder. Then you add a big battery belt around your
Because
midsection.
that's how you power the light, and you know, most of us got an indention in our arm. Sometimes Jeff and I can look at each other the way we're walking, and we'll just automatically mime to each other, "Your back's hurting, isn't
Yeah,
it?" And he's like,
he's right. He's telling the truth.
You
He'll
know.
say, "Is your back all right?" It's like, "Well, I'm okay," but you know, it's
it's what we had to work with, and you know, honestly, when you don't necessarily know better, it's just kind of what you do. And honestly, there's a preference that I have, and I don't know about Jeff. I kind of appreciated the weight of it, you know, as opposed to, yes, the smaller cameras are better on our backs, but I kind of appreciated the weight because you got a chance to really and truly feel what it was that you were holding and how you handled it. And, you know, it was just a different time. It was a different time, but I can tell you that you don't stay in this business as long as myself, Jeff, and you, Bethany, have stayed in
Yeah,
this
this
business.
is not about all about us,
That was very
okay? Just hold
pointed.
on.
Yes, you know, the thing about it is because we work for gray, but we've gotten a lot of gray.
We have a lot of gray.
We have a lot of gray,
yes.
okay? But the thing about it is that what happens is you don't stay in this business for as long as we've been in this business and not be able to evolve.
Yeah.
And so we've been able to evolve. I mean, sometimes there were turns in the road that was equipment related. Sometimes it was a methodology. But through it all, we've stood the test of time because you have to evolve. A lot of the reporters have gotten younger. You know, we weren't tweeting. We weren't taking pictures. We didn't have to write digital news stories. We had deadlines, but now we have MINI deadlines. We have many deadlines that we have to meet. And there are so many other things that are happening now. And when we talk about evolving, I mean, for you to go from being a producer who was behind the scenes like us to now being at the forefront of our morning coverage, that every person wakes up in the morning, watch this, and see you between their toes, you know, that's something, you know. So that's just kind of the evolution of what we do here at 12. We grow people.
But when you call me, I'll answer. And if you need someone to hold your hand, when you're lonely, I'll be there. I will give you everything, everything I am.
Promise your everything with a diamond from Brian Jewelry.
We've become the next generation. What are we hoping to pass on to that generation that comes up behind us as we pass the torch?
I think the most important thing that holistically has prevailed at WSFA, and especially in this new fast-paced world of journalism, it's fine to be first, but it's more important to be factual. And I think more so than anything, that's the thing, is the standard has been to make sure we were factual. And what happens is you don't have to tell anyone how great you are. You don't have to tell anyone about what it is that you do. I think the thing that was passed on to all of us is they did the work and allowed us to watch them. They didn't do a lot of talking. When there was an opportunity to talk, whether it was Vic teaching you something or a reporter pulling you to the side and saying, because they didn't have to, and saying, hey, maybe next time you try this, that, or the other. And I think the biggest difference was we had the foundational principle to listen. We absorbed what they told us, you implemented it, and it worked. And oftentimes what I know I was told, or Jeff and I try and impart to others, is, okay, it worked. Now, when you're in the same position we're in, you share it with someone else, and let's keep passing it down from generation to generation to generation. Because the people change, but the tent of WSFA never changes.
The TV world does not keep people usually in one place for very long. It's usually 2-3 years, and then you're on to something bigger and better. But we have a good number of people who have been here 15, 20, 25, 30, 40 years, and we're not going anywhere. We have no plans to go anywhere. What is it? And I still don't know what it is. What is it about Channel 12 that keeps so many people here? I never intended to stick around this long.
So I think one of the uniqueness about being at WSFA is not how we handle the success. It's how we handle some of the controversy, because now when people call or they email, the way we respond to emails, calls, and criticism says a lot about our level of professionalism too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people don't really understand the mechanics of how television news works, but because of how we handle those phone calls and those emails and help people to understand, whether it's Jeff helping somebody to tune in Channel 12 or helping somebody to understand that, hey, we really did cover that story 12 Ways to Sunday. For whatever reason, that person missed it. but you know, the comment section on Facebook and on the internet can be very negative. But just because they go low or whatever the case may be, there's still a standard that we have even when we deal with people. I've heard you on the phone answer the phone. All of us have to answer the phones here. And you don't know what's on the other end of that phone. But a lot of times, because of how we handle those situations, by the time we hang up, we're laughing with people. You know, we're talking to people. Now, there are some people just aren't going to relent, you know, but I think those are things that really and truly give you an understanding about how unique this place really is. And it's a real unique place.
This job and serving the people that we serve requires a good amount of our, not just our time, but our energy and our emotions, as we talked about before. That, you know, sometimes by the time we get home and back to our families, we're depleted. It's gone. But I think what is really special about this place is that we do a really good job of re-energizing each other. We do a really good job of understanding, hey, this was a tough day. This has been a tough week. It's been a tough month. But we can spend however many hours, 30-something hours on the air for Hurricane Ivan, and solid. But we can come back the next day, and we can take it a little easy. Maybe, you know, we can support each other. I'll do this for you. You do that for me. And we'll kind of work it out over the next couple of weeks until we can get back on our feet. And I think that's something that is really unique about this place that you don't find, not just at other TV stations. I think you just don't find that kind of thought process in a lot of other workplaces, period.
I think the only way that you can leave your family is if you go into family.
Yeah.
And WSFA has always been that bridge for us to get us from our family to where we're trying to go, because it's difficult to be in a hotel if I didn't like the person I was rooming with. Mm-hmm. It's difficult to be in a hotel when you're around people that you don't want to be with. And I can tell you right now, as many stories as we've done at WSFA, none of them, not one of them, compared to the stories that we can tell about some of the sleeping habits of some folks that
the stories we can't tell on TV.
Some of our coworkers.
We may need to cut it
that we have, seriously, I mean, some of the crazy things that have happened. You know, I can distinctly remember when Riley was running for governor, and we went to this small do-drop-in hotel. And it's like we were piled up in there. I think it was like 5 of us, and they only had 1.5 beds.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, you got kind of dicey there.
And so there are those. It makes it easier to leave your family when you're going to be with family, because when we're on the road, we know we're gonna eat good. Mm-hmm.
True.
We know we're gonna have a good time.
True.
And we know somebody is going to do something because they got some strange ritual that they do as far as going to sleep or whatever the case may be. And we walk away, and that's the thing that we laugh about for like years to come.
Yeah.
So
strange rituals.
That's one way to put it. What other job, though, really is going to pay us to just go around and talk to people like we do every day? I think we're pretty darn lucky that we get to talk not just to each other. That was the one thing I did notice early on in the COVID pandemic when we were sent home. I realized, boy, I spend a huge part of my day just talking to people. When I didn't have anybody to talk to, I didn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, this place was a ghost town. I mean, everyone was sent away. You know, our technical media producer team and just a handful of other people were the only ones in this building, in the TV station at the time, and it was tough. We could spend a whole other Being Real with Bethany just talking about COVID and everything, but you lose that camaraderie, you lose the everything, you know, and just it goes away, and that was tough to deal with. I'm so glad that's over with. That was tough. That was
a really weird time. I'm glad we've moved on past that. I think that, like I said, I just find myself in feeling very fortunate on a regular basis that I do get to work with people like you guys. I mean, I get to go out in the community so often, and I get to see somebody new and talk to somebody new, have a different conversation every day. I think it says so much about what Channel 12 is to this community, that they welcome us only because we're carrying that white flag that says 12 on it. That they welcome us pretty much anywhere we want to go.
Sometimes they run away like roaches.
They do
Sometimes they get
sometimes.
scared,
That's like,
you
well,
know,
you can
but-
come in, but I'm leaving.
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
out of here. But when you pull into a Florala or an Ozark or a Headland or Brundage or, you know, Orville or wherever you're going in the coverage area, and I used to really enjoy. I still do. I go into the communities and people see you there and they want to come up and talk to you. You know, some of them you need to get away from them. But,
Some of them you don't really want to talk to them for so long.
But no, seriously, people want to talk to you because they've seen you for a long time, and now you're in their community, and you want to talk to them. You want to find out what makes them tick. What's going on here.
Yeah.
That's what's fun. That's why I've always loved traveling to the smaller towns, is because I learned things I've never known before, and then they learn something about the TV station, when you're talking to them. So. But
I think the other thing is there's a lot of, I think we oughta moments that we have here at WSFA that doesn't necessarily come from the top. It really comes from the bottom. It's a situation where, and I think, management supports that. Jeff and I may be having a conversation in his office and it's like, man, I think we oughta. And he'll look at me and say, hey, you on board? Mm-hmm. I'm like, yeah, I'm on board. Count me in. And that snowflake turns into an avalanche that you start to get, hometown tours. Mm-hmm. It's a situation whereabout you talk about things and you get documentaries. You talk about things of I think we oughta, and you get podcasts. And I think that's the uniqueness, is that corporate really embraces our ideas. So there's a certain amount of autonomy that you have because it kind of becomes your baby. Mm-hmm. Hey, I think we ought to go down to the beach and do some coverage down at the beach. And because of that, now Sally Adventures is born, And so there's a lot of those stories that happen that are birthed in a conversation in the break room, that are birthed in a hallway conversation, and I think that's the uniqueness about this place that keeps it fresh is the fact that then when you pitch it to management, and they're like, yeah, we like that. Let's see if we can sell it. You know what I'm saying? And seriously, mm-hmm. As a result of that, it started with a conversation of people who know the DMA, who know where the good stories are, who know where the good people are, and we know how to build coverage. And that goes a long way when you know that the people that you work with actually listen to you and value your ideas.
And I think they know, like I said before, when you two are involved, it's going to turn out to be really, really good every time. So thank you.
Yeah, but honestly, they're the yous that you are involved. Mm-hmm. And Sally, we start calling names, and Desmond is, Vince is, the list goes on and on. The Matt Helms and others who, hey, I'm from that area. What y'all probably need to do is talk to this person. And so everybody just kind of collaborates because we kind of trust each other. Mm-hmm. And before you know it, man, we're standing on a stage at the Abbeys winning an award. And it's like, wow, man, mm-hmm. And it all started with a conversation.
And it helps to have a general manager, and I'll go ahead and put a plug in for Mark Bunting, yes. That he generally will support most everything we bring up. Mm-hmm. I don't know if there's been many that we brought to the table that he went, no, this is crazy, this will never work. But you have to have and it starts from the top down. When you go to your GM and you say, here's an idea we've got. You say, all right, how's this going to work? How are you going to, lay this out for me? Sell it to me. This is going to have to work because here's why. And you have everything buttoned up. You have your sales pitch ready. You go to him, and I'd say 9 times out of 10 he'll say, all right, let's try it. Let's at least try it. If it doesn't work, we'll move on to something else.
Yeah.
But that's a whole lot of what we do. We pitch ideas, and if it works, we keep doing it. This podcast is one that's working. That was a great idea.
Yeah. It wasn't my idea. I can't take credit for it. And you're the one, Jeff, who makes it look so darn good every single season.
And
So-
we look for ideas. If people, have ideas, we genuinely want people to chime in and say, and it's not just within these four walls of this
No.
station. Viewers oftentimes will email or write us or call us about, hey, you should feature this, or you should come down here to wherever, take a look at what we're doing. That's important because we don't have eyes everywhere. The viewers are our eyes and ears, and they can tell us when there's something, out there that we need to feature. And that's what's cool, is because people will call and say, hey, come down here and do a story on this person and what they've done and what they mean to the community. We might not ever know that until someone would reach out and tell us.
Right. We don't know what we don't know.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So that's what's special too, is that we have viewers who want us to come into their community and want to show us, around their town or around their community, and want us to see what they have that's special. It's special to them, so it should be special to us.
Right. Well, and I think that happens because of the history and the legacy that Channel 12 has always been, and because of the way Channel 12 has always handled itself with these communities. Those communities want to continue that relationship with Channel 12.
I love working with these guys because I just love these guys. Their dedication and loyalty and passion to do it right, it makes the rest of us better at our jobs. They're a true example of why WSFA 12 News has been Alabama's news source for the last 70 years.